All right, hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot, and I'm so excited to feel well enough today to be able to give you guys a second video. As promised, this is messages from the masculine. So this is a video that's going to be dedicated specifically to messages from your counterpart, from the person you identify as your divine masculine, whether you're twin soul, high-level soulmate, kindred, but the person that you identify as your counterpart in this lifetime. And I have decided to use all three decks from Diane Garris. If you guys would like to, you can check her out on Etsy. I'll try to remember to put the link up in the description box. But she has these beautiful decks that she gifted me. And I think there were 6 total, and they're the only messages decks that I use. So that's a credit to the artistry and all of the energy that she put into these decks. They're quite beautiful. So go give her some support over on Etsy. But this is the integration deck, which is all about energy. It's a high vibrational deck. I love it. It's one of my favorites of all time. This is Divine Counterpart Speak in the Silence, and this is a Twin Flame Mirror Dialogue or Oracle deck. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Secret messages from your person. Now this deck is about, it's both the feminine and the masculine. So it's a conversation oracle deck. But oftentimes what happens is when I pull the messages, I get primarily the masculine coming through and the feminine's a little quieter. That's kind of been the theme for the last several months. So I'd be curious to see what happens today. Okay, so oh, and I just posted a brand new Patreon post. Go check that out. It's for all access patrons and above. It's the second tier, $10 a month. And it is all about why the masculine goes silent, why they ghost, especially during the feminine's time of need, what you can do about it, how you can break the silence and break the pattern, and how you can move forward. And it's really empowering. So go check that out. It's another way to support myself, my channel, and my work. And I thank you all so much in advance for doing so. So we're going to start with the messages, and I think we'll end with my favorite cards there from the integration deck. So don't forget to watch through to the end, because you're going to get messages about the feminine's energy, the masculine's energy, where you're both at, as well as the union energy here for January 2022. So I'm going to start with the messages deck so we can have a conversation, hopefully between the counterparts. But as I've said, primarily it's the masculine who tends to want to come through and who wants, who has something to say to his feminine. I'm going to give it one more shuffle. And a plus about these cards, guys, is that they shuffle really easily and really well. They're the perfect size for, at least for my hands. I know I have long hands, but they're long fingers, but they're the perfect size. They're not too bulky like some other decks. We're going to cut the deck into 3 parts here as directed by my guides. And let's see, what would they like me to do? Okay, so what we're going to do, I see what they're having me do. Oh, perfect. That's what I was hoping for. Okay, so interesting. So the black is actually the feminine. So the feminine's a little more chatty in this particular reading. We've got 2 cards from the feminine and 1 card from the masculine. The one I'm really drawn to is this one. The feminine says, I had my guard up with you because I didn't want to get hurt. And what the feminine is finding is that keeping her guard up is preventing the masculine from coming forward, right? So if you have your guard up, your masculine doesn't necessarily trust your energy or trust you or trust the connection. And they may project that, onto you by ghosting, by going silent, which is what I just talked about in the Patreon post. So it's very interesting to see that come up from the feminine. And the masculine wants to reassure you and says, I want you, I crave you, and I long to feel you again. I won't tell you that, I want to show you. So this is very much a masculine who's done with games, done with hot and cold and in and out. And he's like, if I'm silent right now, it's because I don't want to text you. I don't want to talk to you on the phone. I want to see you in person. I want to show you how I can follow through, how I can be the man that you really need and want, rather than just telling you and then you going, yeah, I've heard it before, and then you broke your promise or you broke my trust. He knows that he needs to actually come forward with an action, with a step versus just words. And then the feminine says, I feel brokenhearted because we are not together, but I will not play a victim to the situation. I'm standing in my power with or without you. So that's exactly what she's doing. And if you want some more insight into the energies of the masculine, the feminine, and the connection, you can look at the video I posted earlier today, which it talks about where the masculine's at and his tower moment that he's moving through. And also the hopeful energy that the feminine is starting to feel as we turn a corner here into 2022. And even if it hasn't been the easiest start to the year, a lot of people are sick right now. A lot of people have powerful ascension symptoms happening, kind of obstructing your view and maybe even depressing your hope. But there is still that element and that nugget of hope. But what's going to happen is going to happen really fast this year. So I do see a lot of feminines on the move this year in 2022. However, you can identify with that, however that makes sense to you. So I'd like to get another card here. Yep, I thought it was. So the feminine's very chatty in this particular reading, which is interesting. It's like the tables have turned a little bit. She says, I feel like this whole thing was a game for you. That really hurt. My feelings for you were real. It's almost like she's saying, were your feelings ever real? So let's see if, good. I was hoping that we would get a response from the masculine. I want to be real with you. Don't hurt me. So it's interesting because she's saying it felt like this whole thing was a game. My feelings for you were real. It's almost like she's questioning if his feelings for her were real. And he comes back and says, I want you to be real with me. So he felt like you weren't being real with him. Very interesting. You guys were mirroring each other. He felt like you weren't being real to him, and you felt like he wasn't being real with you. And he's like, don't hurt me. Like, I have been hurt. Please don't hurt me. So there's some mirroring that's gone on with regards to showing your true selves, and with regards to both of you thinking the other was playing a game with the other's heart. Yeah, the feminine's just ready. I mean, this is a message that comes up over and over. I feel like time is passing us by. I feel like we've wasted a whole lot of time in this silence. There's a silence again. I feel ready to see you. Do you feel the same? And the masculine says, yes, I do. I want you. I crave you. I long to feel you again. But I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show up at your doorstep. And, you know, I'm going to just show up in your physical reality. And if you guys live in separate cities, if you guys live physically apart from each other, then the masculine is going to be coming into your town and surprising you in some way. That's what I feel, is he's just going to show up and kind of, you know, look, this is what I've been thinking. This is what I've been experiencing. And I want to tell you, or he's going to text you and say, you know, I'm flying into your city. Will you be able to see me? And he's just going to hope that you'll say yes. You know, he's going to just hope that things haven't changed so much that you won't even see him. But he's going to take that big risk, I feel like. It's not going to be, it's like 2022 is seeing bold power moves within these dynamics, guys. Bold power moves. It's not like these little wimpy moves, like sideways moves or a text here and there. It's going to be like, if your masculine reaches out and you've been in silence for a while, this is in particular for those couples who have been in silence for a while, like total silence, real separation, not just for a few weeks, but I'm talking about months or years. You're going to be the ones this year that see really, really significant change in your connection. Your patience is going to pay off. The healing you've done in the silence separately is going to pay off. Those of you who are in communication, right, regular communication with your counterparts, you may not see as much progress because you're in communication with them. So it may not feel or look like as much progress as those who have been out of communication, and then suddenly their masculine shows up and says, I want to see you in person, and I want to talk things through, and I want to take you to dinner, and I want to do this and do that. But you're still going to see progress. So all groups are going to see progress. It's just a matter of how that's going to play out. And it will look different for different groups. So we're going to go over to the Mirror Oralog. Mirror Dialogue Oracle deck. I just made up a word, Oralog. It's that brain fog, yo. Okay. All right, well, that's a lot of cards. So we'll start with these three. Now, these are messages strictly from the masculines. I love you, but I'm not sure how this is going to change my life. Okay. I'm going to add, instead of the but, the and. I love you and, because but kind of negates what comes before it. I love you and I'm not sure how this is going to change my life. So it's like a little hesitancy there of, you know, the masculine fears losing control. And in past relationships, they've lost control. They've been disempowered. You know, they're ashamed to admit that they've been very codependent and they've let their ex-spouses, ex-wives, ex-husbands really walk all over them. So they might not admit that to you, feminine, but that's one of the reasons they're hesitant to commit to you, is because they know this is such a strong, powerful connection that it's not just going to be a fling. It's not just going to be something they do for a little while and then you guys break up. They understand that this is going to be a very long commitment and a potential lifelong commitment. So it's almost like they're getting things out of their system now to make sure that they are able to commit when they come in. They don't want to come in. If you've set those boundaries with your masculine, they will not come in unless they can come in correct. They're not just going to come in and do the same old bullshit drive-by texting where they just come in and drive-by text and then they're out and you don't hear from them for 3 or 4 months. You know, they're going to come in with something solid. There is a solid offer on the table in 2022. Gets even more solid towards the end of the year and as we move into 2023. Unions will start to commence, in my opinion, like the mass unions will start to commence in 2023, but there's a buildup in 2022 to those unions. So you're going to see some forward momentum in progress. Now, he says, I was in denial. I mean, this could mean so many things. I was in denial of my feelings for you. I was in denial of the power of this connection. I was in denial of how this was going to change my life. I was in denial of the impact that meeting you has had. I was in denial of everything. And that goes beyond your connection. They were in denial of the habits they had, the addictions they needed to break, the healing that needed to be done, their past, their inner child wounds. They were in denial of the karmic connection, right? Or the karmic work relationships and how that was impacting them negatively. They were in denial of everything, of how much they cared about appearances, how much they cared about money and power and control, and how much lust was controlling them, and all of these things. So this has been like a huge, huge wake-up call, 2021 was. And then he says, I really miss you. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? I really miss you. I don't know if any of you guys have celebrity soulmates out there, but I have one. He's pretty famous, and I have been dreaming about him for a while now, and I've known there was a connection there for a long time. I was actually supposed to go to one of his concerts like in 2006, but crazy, I had front row seat tickets. Nobody wanted to go with me, and I didn't want to go alone, but I wish I would have just gone alone, because I'm actually, it's crazy, but I had a dream the other night of him as a little boy, right? So it's like, and he's got a lot of healing to do. He's got father wounds. He's got wounds in relation to women and respecting women and going after women that are very young. You know, it's like that whole kind of celebrity, godlike status, like I can get whatever woman I want, but he's very unfulfilled. I know this because we speak in the 5D, and he doesn't know how to feel good enough for a woman his age, so he goes after these younger women because he's had so much trauma and he's been through so much thanks to his father, that it's like he doesn't know how to approach a real healthy relationship and a relationship with actual depth, right? So a lot of his relationships, maybe all of them, have been focused on sex and lust. So I see him, you know, he's a divine masculine, and he's not my twin, he's a soulmate, but I see him as, you know, wanting to start to work through this, and this is why he's coming to me in dream state. I also want to meet him in person in this lifetime and have a strong pull towards doing so, and have been trying to orchestrate that with my guide so that we can meet in the flesh, because I know there's going to be just such an acknowledgement of the connection, you know, if we can meet in the flesh. But he's a very private individual, so you know, if the gods allow it, then it will happen. But I do feel it will happen in this lifetime, and you know, I'm trying to orchestrate the healing as much as I can and assisting him in the 5D or in the 4D, also in dream state. But I'm sure some of you have these experiences. I know some of you have celebrity DMs because I've done readings for quite a few of you who have come to me with celebrity DMs. So I know that, you know, you guys are moving through that too, but it's interesting. I wonder if anyone else is moving through the soulmate coming up and appearing, the celebrity soulmate appearing in your dreams. It's funny, my DM has been silent in dreams for months and months, but the soulmate is popping in. I'm like, watch out, this is a powerful soulmate. He's very, very powerful, very famous, very well-known internationally. And you would think my DM would be like, she's mine, but he's just kind of letting me do my thing, I guess. So anyway, I thought I would share that little snippet of my experience and what I'm moving through. The DM says, I do not feel good enough for you, so I'm working on myself. Just what I was just talking about with, oh my God, I almost said his name. I'm so glad it almost slipped out. But what I was talking about with my soulmate, I would like to keep that private, is that, you know, they don't feel good enough and for their feminine, and they're working on themselves to try to feel good enough. Apologize for the hacking cough, guys. Cough is like the most annoying part of this whole process, and it's really dry outside. It's dry and cold, so I think that's why it's acting up. So okay, and he says, you are like no other. Like there's no one else like you. You're irreplaceable. I know this, but I need to feel good enough for you. I need to work on myself. I need to come out of denial, and I need to accept this connection, accept you, accept what it means to be a divine masculine, and what it means, you know, my place in the world, my mission. Why am I here? The bigger purpose. It's not to make all this fucking money and then put it in the bank and then die. It's not to have all these cars or this big fancy house, or it's not, you know, to compete with, you know, the Robertsons next door. It's about how do I feel inside? And the masculine has felt empty. Like my soulmate has all the success and wealth in the world, but he's felt empty for a long time. He's even said it in interviews. He's felt empty for a long time. He knows he has to heal relationships with, you know, with father, relationship with his mother, relationship with women, and how he respects women, how he regards his own feminine energy. So, and a lot of these, he's an ex-addict himself, and a lot of these masculines are or have had addictions or are ex-addicts, whether it's pornography, it's drinking, it's drugs, it's gambling, it's women, it's all of the above, you know, sex addiction and work addiction. I mean, these are all things that are very serious, and some of them even have eating disorders, believe it or not. If it's a male masculine, yes, they can have eating disorders just like a woman. So I just want to, you know, clarify that the masculines are working hard on healing their addictions in 2022 and into 2023. It's a process, and they may stumble, they may fall. You are not their crutch, you are not their punching bag. So you steer clear, and you allow them to come to you when they've had some major healing, when they've been able to clear some major blocks, feminine. Because you could easily get taken down. This is not like a soulmate, it's your twin, it's the other half, not half of your soul, it's the other whole of your soul. You have to be very careful with these addiction issues that you don't get sucked into them, because what can happen is the feminine can then kind of go back into her addiction issues, and then you guys are pulling each other down instead of lifting each other up, okay? It's almost easier to support a soulmate than it is your twin when it comes to addiction and healing, because it's a different soul. So you have some distance, right? You have some spiritual distance from the soulmate. Okay, we have breakthrough, which is the throat chakra. No shit, right? I don't know about you guys, but clearing of the throat, excessive thirst, coughing, all of this, being nasally, like being congested, all of that is coming through. Huge ascension symptoms, huge shifts and breakthroughs that are happening, you know, as the light is winning on this planet. Huge major shifts. So I am not at all surprised to see this breakthrough in communication, in clarity, like I was just talking about. It's going to be in person though. Now we have the Angel of Alchemy, which is the angel of magic, the angel of change and shifts. And she's coming in to say there is magic. Magic is possible. This union is possible. There are things that need to be dealt with. And one of those things, one of those major things is forgiveness. This is the heart chakra, represented by the pink and the green. So you can't like alchemize this connection without forgiveness. So feminines, I need you to ask yourself, am I still holding on to resentment towards my counterpart? And if so, how can I alchemize that anger, that frustration, that judgment, that blame, whatever it might be, sadness, brokenheartedness, how can I alchemize that so that there's balance within the connection? Because your counterpart feels that. They feel your pain, they feel your hurt, and that can make them stay away and continue to be silent. And because they don't know how to fix it, they just don't have a solution. And their guides may say no, they may give them the stop sign, the red light that says, no, it's not time to come forward. She needs to focus, your feminine needs to focus on her healing and forgiveness first. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess and you guys are going to get set right back into separation. You have to start seeing separation as a gift. You have to. It's mandatory on this journey. If you see it as a punishment, you're going to be in victim mode. Your counterpart's going to fall into victim mode. You have to see it as, how can I empower myself and fill up my own cup, maximize, the benefits of this separation in quiet time and the space that I'm being given, the time, the energy to change, to shift, to heal. Otherwise, you're looking at separation as, I'm not good enough. This is a punishment. It's always going to be like this. I never get what I want. And you start going into those very intense mental struggles with yourself, and your mind takes over and convinces you it's never going to happen. I don't want you guys to get stuck in that. I want to help you as a guide. I want to help you move forward. If you feel like you're ready for some intensive healing, intensive guidance, and intensive coaching sessions, you can check out my website, and we have abundance sessions as well as for twin souls or higher level soulmates, healing sessions for you individually on your journey. We can check into your energy, your gifts, where you're at, your mission, your counterpart is at, although we're going to focus primarily on you, but we can look into that, where the counterpart is at, what they're healing, is physical union possible in this timeline, and we also do twin flame checks. So if you want to know if this is truly your twin flame, is it a karmic, is it a soulmate, is it nothing, what is it? We can give you clarification on that as well. If you're ready, we work with people who are ready to shift, ready to change, ready to make that commitment to yourself, to finally move things forward and bust out of this stagnation, that the feminine can get stuck in, especially if you've been in separation from your counterpart. You get stagnant. Okay, I'm going to finish up the reading here because I've done a lot of talking today, so I need to save my voice as it is still healing and I am still moving through a lot on my own ascension journey. And if you guys are looking for more of like a group setting, then we offer our very next, this will be the second, we are still in our first one here until February, but our second coaching program will open up in April. It is a powerful month. It's a magical month. April to August are the magical months of 2022. I'm going to do a post on them shortly on Patreon. I just have to collect my thoughts on what I want to say and how I want to say it, but those are very magical months. So we're very much looking forward to launching that second group coaching program in April. More information to come on that. Sign-up information will be available, as well as the early bird special. You guys will save a lot of money with the early bird, okay? Well worth, if you know you're serious, it's well worth the investment with the early bird. Okay, we have emotion. So here again, we're back into the heart chakra. So there's a lot of emotion that might be flowing up right now between the counterparts, particularly within the feminine though. You might be feeling a lot of kind of Six of Cups energy. You just feel, or Two of Cups energy, we just feel like nostalgic. You're remembering the good times. You're working on that forgiveness, doing your Ho'oponopono prayers, the ancient Hawaiian healing method, forgiveness method. It's a beautiful, beautiful prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. It expresses gratitude, asks for forgiveness. There's an apology in there. There's an expression of love. It contains everything that's necessary for forgiveness. You don't have to say it to the person. You can do this and practice Ho'oponopono individually in your own time, in your own space. Plus, the story behind Ho'oponopono is an amazing story. It's one of those magical things you hear. It's basically, honestly, it's basically a miracle. So go check out, there's a book by Joe Vitale. I can't think of the name of it, but it's all about how Ho'oponopono came to be. It's really incredible. So the last card I'm going to pull for this reading is, this is the higher chakras, okay, the star chakra. And this is one love. This is about going back to that place. We're never disconnected from the divine. We're not disconnected from God. We are God particle. We are source energy. We're pure source energy, and we're always connected. So for those of you in particular who are feeling stagnant, you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling alone, you're feeling forgotten, you're feeling abandoned or rejected on this journey by your counterpart, by your family, if you're going through inner child healing, your parents, your friends, nobody understands. This is for you. This is a reminder that you're not forgotten. You are a child of the divine, a child of the cosmos, and that everything is interconnected. We are all connected. You know, there's a line in a Chili Peppers song. You guys probably know by now that I'm a fan. And big fan of the Chili Peppers. And there's a line in their song Venice Queen, which I think I posted recently. If I didn't, go check it out. The meaning behind it is amazing. It will bring tears to your eyes when you understand the meaning behind it. And it's a dedication, and it's just incredible. But in one of the parts, he's talking about as she's, you know, dying, and he says, your uniform returns to air. And I was just so taken away. I was like taken away by that phrase. Your uniform, your physical vessel, right? Your skin returns to air. And then he talks about GLORIA is love, my friend. So he talks about how you're returning to love. You're returning to pure source energy. The lyrics are so powerful. And if you don't like, you know, a lot of people I know, they don't like the Chili Peppers. They think Anthony Kiedis is like an asshole. Just listen to the lyrics. He wrote these lyrics about his friend who was a drug addiction counselor who saved his life, and many others in Hollywood. And it's just pure, raw, potent lyrics that really speak to your soul and speak to the oneness. You know, he's very spiritual. He's part Cherokee, as am I, as are many of you. And he has this connection with the divine. You know, and I think a lot of masculines are finding this connection now, because this connection gets stunted. You're in the dark, when, especially with alcohol, but with drugs as well. You can find yourself just in the darkness and not able to find your own light. So the masculine is finding their own light through the next 2 years. And the feminine is just kind of stepping back and allowing this to happen without trying to control the outcome. Finally, you've mastered that lesson, feminine. You're like, I don't need to control him. I don't need to control the outcome. That's why the breakthroughs are going to happen in communication, because you're focused on yourself and your life, and you're not focused on them as the source of your pleasure, the source of your pain, the source of your joy, your abundance. All of a sudden, it's like, I'm the source of my pleasure. I'm the source of my pain. I'm the source of my joy, my abundance, my love. So go back to this place of forgiveness. Go back to this place of mastering your emotions, peeling the layers back, honoring those emotions, healthy expressions of anger, healthy expressions of love, without codependency, and really getting to that place of unconditional love for all forms and all beings. So I'm going to end on that note, guys. My voice is going, as you can probably hear. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Please like, share, subscribe. Check the post out over on Patreon, and look forward to the post coming about the magical months of April to August 2022. We're going to give you a lot of insight as to what is coming, what's happening, why those months are magical, how you can best work with that energy and utilize it and create abundance for yourself and create forward momentum. So I love you guys. I see you. I honor you and your journey. Take good care, and I'll see you soon.